Hello, guys, and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel, Spanish for English Speakers with Jen. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the gender and the article so you can learn how to use those elements in Spanish. So let's get started. The masculine nouns in Spanish generally end in the letter O. However, there are other endings or categories of words that are also frequently associated with the masculine gender. Let me give you some examples. Carro, zapato, cuaderno. If you notice here, we have three nouns and each one ends in the letter O. In that way, you know that this is a masculine noun. Also, we have los puntos cardinales or cardinal points. They are masculine. Los números, the numbers. Los meses del año. Los días de la semana. Y sustantivos relacionados con la geografía. All of those are masculine. Then we have the feminine nouns. In Spanish, generally end with the letter A. However, there are other endings or categories of words that are also frequently associated with the feminine gender as well. And let me give you some examples. Casa, puerta, alma. As well, las letras del alfabeto and el nombre de algunas ciudades y países, those are feminine as well. When we are talking about occupation or position at work, we just have to change the last letter to go from masculine to feminine, or vice versa. For example, in English, you would use the same word for some occupations for a woman or for a man. You can say doctor, teacher, mechanic for a girl or a boy, but in Spanish, it would be doctor for a man, doctora for a woman, profesor for a man, profesora for a woman, mecánico for a man, mecánica for a woman. Then we have the article. The article is the word that accompanies the noun and always goes before it. It's the word that always functions as a determiner or identifier of the noun. It indicates whether the noun is known or not. It indicates the gender, feminine or masculine, and the number of the noun, singular or plural. The articles are divided into definite and indefinite. Definite articles are those that speak of something known and identifiable. In the other hand, the indefinite articles are those that speak of something unknown or that you cannot identify. So let's see which articles we have in Spanish. As I explained before, we have definite and indefinite, and we should use those for masculine and feminine in a singular form and the plural form. So for masculine, we have in singular el as a definite, and for plural, we have los. For feminine, we have la, and plural, we have las. As indefinite, we have for masculine in singular un, and in plural, we have unos. For feminine in singular, we have una, and in plural, we have unas. Perfect. Okay, so let me give you some examples. So here we have the word niño, which means boy, and niña, which means girl. And let me teach you how to use it with the article. So for singular, for masculine and definite article, we should say el niño. Then for plural, we have los niños. And then in the feminine, we have la niña and las niñas. As indefinite, we have un niño, unos niños for masculine, una niña, unas niñas for feminine. And remember, indefinite articles are those that we use for something that we don't know or that we cannot identify. Perfect. So in English, the equivalent would be a and the. So if you want to say in Spanish, el niño, los niños, you should use the, right? In English. So you would say the boy for just one boy, the boys for a group of boys that you know. Remember that the definite article is used for something you know and that you can identify. And then for something you cannot identify, the equivalent in English for indefinite would be a, an, or you can use as well some. For example, in singular, we would say a boy, and if the word starts with a vowel, of course we use an. But if we want to say that in plural, we should say some boys, right? So we would use those for something that we don't know and we cannot identify. And that's exactly what we have in Spanish. El, los, la, las for something that we know. Un, unos, una, unas for something we don't know or we cannot identify. Then we have prepositions next to the article. And let me teach you how you can use that. If you have a preposition next to the article, generally we make a contraction or a link. Most of the time with the prepositions a or de. For example, if you want to say that you're going to school in Spanish, you would say voy al colegio. But remember that you're learning how to use the articles, and probably you are confused. So you wouldn't say voy a el colegio. You wouldn't use the article separated of the preposition. You have to make a link there. So what you will do is to eliminate the first letter of the article and just mix it with the preposition and the other letter that you have left. So you would say voy al colegio. Perfect. So then you have the preposition de. Instead of saying vengo de el colegio, which is not used, you would make a contraction there and you would say vengo del colegio. Everyone will say it that way. Then we have a neutral article, lo. This article does not indicate gender, masculine or feminine, neither number, singular or plural. It is used to mark abstraction, okay? So, for example, if you want to say, the best thing of my TV is that I can connect it to my cell phone, you would use the article lo, and you would say it this way. Lo mejor de mi televisión es que puedo conectarla a mi celular. If you notice, lo is before an adjective, mejor, and it does not indicate if the word television is masculine or feminine. It does not indicate neither if you're talking about more than one television or TV, or if you're talking about one television. Now that we finished with the article, I need to give you more information about the gender. So more grammar rules. There are some nouns that can be written just in one way or that have a single ending. That means that to change the gender, you will have to use the article. For example, we have the word periodista, which means journalist. Periodista cannot be changed. That word cannot be changed. That's the only way that we have to write this. So if you want to talk about a journalist that is a woman, you would use the article. So you would say la periodista for female, right? And then if you want to talk about a journalist that is a man, then you will use the right article, which is el, to talk about a man. So you would say el periodista for male. We have as well the word estudiante, which means student. And we would say for female, la estudiante, and for male, el estudiante. You have to remember this because those words cannot be changed. Those are not the only words in which we have to use the article. We have a lot of words. Basically, you will have to learn those words by heart so you won't forget those rules. We have as well something called genetic masculine. In Spanish, the masculine also functions as an unmarked gender. That means that if it's not specified, it is used for masculine and feminine, unlike the feminine, which is a marked gender, so it just can be used for feminine. Let me give you an example so you can better understand. So if we want to say the college teachers in Spanish, we would say los profesores de la universidad. Incluye los profesores y las profesoras. That means that if we say los profesores, I'm talking about teachers that are women and the teachers that are men. Perfect. But in English, we don't have that. In English, you would say the teachers or teachers, and you're talking about women and men. But in Spanish, you have to use the article so you can let the other person know that you're talking about masculine or feminine. In this case, as masculine is genetic, you can say los profesores for both. And in this case, you're talking about women and men, unlike the feminine. So in the feminine, you would say las profesoras de la universidad solo incluye las profesoras. And that means that I'm just talking about the teachers that are women. So if you say las profesoras, you're just talking about women. You're not including men. As well, we have some rules for animals. So in Spanish, there are some nouns of animals that do not change for male or female. So you have to use the words macho for male and hembra for female. Let me give you some examples. So here we have the word jirafa. Remember, jirafa is an animal, giraffe, but if you notice, it ends in the letter A, so it's a female noun. Therefore, we have to use the article la, so we would say la jirafa, but as that word cannot be changed, we have to specify if we're talking about a male or a female. So we use the word hembra for female. So we would say la jirafa hembra, and for male, la jirafa macho. So you let the other person know that you're talking about the female or the male version. As well, we have animals in which the masculine and the feminine are different. And let me give you some examples. In English, we have the word dog, for female and male. But in Spanish, we have two words. So for male, we would say perro, and for female, we would say perra. But in English, you as well have two different words to make a difference in the gender. So you have horse and mare, and as well in Spanish, we have caballo for horse and yegua for mare. So we have as well rooster and hen. Rooster will be gallo in Spanish. Hen will be gallina in Spanish. In Spanish, we have some feminine words that start with a or a. Remember the letter H is mute. In Spanish, we have some feminine words that start with a or a that have an accent mark, not necessarily with a graphic accent in which we use the article el instead of la. And let me give you some examples. So we say el agua instead of la agua, even though the word agua ends with an A. So keep that in mind. Is el agua, el arma, el hacha, but of course we have some exceptions. If we have a word in between the article and the noun, we should use the feminine article la instead. And let me give you some examples. So remember that we use the article el. However, as I just explained here, if we have a word in between the article, then we cannot say el mismo arma in this case. This is incorrect. So we should say la misma arma. As we have a word in between and the noun ends with the vowel A, which is feminine, then we have to use the article la. So we say la misma arma instead of saying el mismo arma. Alright, guys. So I advise you to keep practicing. I know this is a lot of information at this point. That's why you have to keep practicing because it's important for you to understand how to use the articles in the right way and how to use the gender in Spanish so we know when a noun is for female and when a noun is for male. If you have any question about this video, you can put it on the comment section below or you can send me an email at SpanishForEnglishSpeakersWG@gmail.com. You can hit on subscribe or you can hit on like if you like this video. I hope to see you soon and thank you for watching.